Did you get it? Is it on?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a wonderful edition of Taking Over the World with Ed and Eric. What's up, buddy?
How do you know it's going to be wonderful?
Because every day I get to talk to you is wonderful.
I love it. Look, first of all, look at this guy. Listen,
Dolphins.
you beat the Jets.
I know.
Last week, you guys were ready to fire your coaching staff. Tua was the worst quarterback in the league.
I haven't changed any opinions.
Okay, so opinions haven't changed. We're just super excited. We put it on Zach Wilson and the Jets.
No, we actually shut them out, which is a good thing.
Okay, it's the Jets. Relax.
Exactly, I know.
It's relaxed. That's like saying right now you beat the Patriots. Like, congratulations.
Yeah, no. Now the Patriots wins are kind of lame compared to 20 years ago when we had Brady in our division. But but I did. Number one, I am excited because we won.
All right, fair enough. I'm just being a bit I'm just being a bitter Cardinals fan. I've listened.
Yeah,
good thing I'm a baseball fan, right? Good thing I'm baseball because the Diamondbacks saved my sports season. You know, obviously the Golden Knights of hockey, that was a huge help. We got the WNBA Aces here in Las Vegas.
Again, another huge help.
Yes, exactly. Huge help right there. But going back to my Arizona roots and my California roots, right? Huge Angels fans growing up. Shohei going, I'm not worried about it. Like, hey, listen, we weren't going to sign him. Going to the Dodgers, yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, the Dodgers, listen, this thing just goes down the right. Get ready for it. Dodger fans, come at me. Listen, this is what I don't like about certain teams, and I know Dodger fans are going to be like it. All of a sudden, everybody's going to be a Dodgers fan. Everybody's going to come out of the woodworks, and that's the kind of stuff.
But that's
fair weather fans tick me off.
But that's the way it is all the time.
It's just so dumb. As growing, like, I challenge fanships. Like, tell me why you're a Dolphin fan. Tell me why you're a Cardinals fan. Like, I'm not saying you. Like, I know why you are. But, like, dude, people are going to come out, and they're going to be like, oh, Dodgers. Like, listen. You went out and you paid for your payroll. You're going to have, Christ.
That's why the Yankees have fans.
Exactly. And I hate Yankee fans. Right? Like, I don't like when you go out and you just like buy a roster and you're just like, oh, dude, we're going to be so good. Like, okay, well, you don't know that. The Padres did it last year and they sure stunk, right? So it's like, you're going to get all these people now that are going to be like, oh, no, always been a Dodgers fan. Always been a Dodgers fan. Big fan of like when the guy hits the ball and like they run around the bases and they try to tag each other. They're not baseball fans. They're just going to like become baseball fans. And like, okay, that's good for the game. I get it. But don't come at me with like, oh, this is our year. You bought a team.
Well, you know what? A week ago, Dak Prescott was all of a sudden the MVP frontrunner. And now Cam Newton was right, and he's a game manager. I mean, come on. Like, everybody overreacts to everything.
Listen, the Dodgers should be good on paper, yes.
Right.
But again, I think Dave Roberts is a good coach. Like, no problems. Like, listen, go ahead, win. I don't care. We grew up with ties to the Dodgers too. We got one of those first cousin, second cousin, quad cousins playing on the Dodgers. So like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll root for the Dodgers. I'm not that crazy.
Right.
As an Angels fan, I hope we trade Mike Trout. I'm ready for that to happen.
To reboot and start all over again.
Just like. Yeah, I'm
but all your teams are going to be rebooting then.
But I don't care.
Except for the Golden Knights.
For me, it's like trade Mike Trout because I grew up as an Angels fan. I mean, Mike Trout was like, I think he was the guy that started to really change the game and like, make it what it was. Like, come argue with me on it. But Mike Trout is arguably one of the greatest players of our generation.
Of course.
He deserves to go play somewhere else.
He deserves to win a championship.
That's why I'm saying, like, as an Angels fan, man, let's give the guy the respect that he deserves. Like, dude, he helped the franchise. He's tried his best. Like, he goes in there, you know, he's not getting any younger. You know, he's still a stud. Like, dude, let him go home to Philly and play. Like, could you imagine the Phillies right now?
That'd be really
Trout
good.
Went home and played for them. Like, I think
the Dodgers don't want that though.
Well, forget the Dodgers. I think he deserves to be traded and gone on.
There you go.
But my original question before I went on this rant was, I almost called you this weekend on Sunday, and I was like, listen, the Sun Devils were terrible. The Cardinals are terrible. I was like, how does the application process work for me to put in my temporary fanship status and just jump on board with the Dolphins?
Well, luckily, we have a rule.
Okay, this is what I want to know.
Yeah, we have a rule.
Okay.
That since you're associated with me,
Okay.
you get automatic entry.
Okay.
And you get the clout going all the way back to 72, the undefeated season. So you can say we're undefeated.
It's
the only team.
See, I don't even need that.
And you can even say that we have the winningest coach of all time.
Listen, I don't.
It's all the clout. You get all of our clout.
I don't even need all that. I just want temporary status to have something to wake up for on Sunday and root for. Because at this point, all I'm rooting for is like Marvin Harrison Jr. not to go back to Ohio State, so that hopefully the Cardinals can draft him. Like, right? Like, I mean, at that point, it's the only thing left for me to root for in football. So I'm like, give me something to be excited about. Not that I really have that much time to sit and watch football anyway, but I want something.
No, you're automatically in.
Okay. So there's no application process. I'm in.
You're
Stamp
in.
it. I'm
You're
on paper.
associated with me, so you're automatically.
Okay. And the fact that I applying for temporary status before the playoffs, I mean, that should count. Like, I can now celebrate like
the wins.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you're good.
Okay.
I'm
good with
you're
that.
solid.
I'm good with that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Now, one of the things I do want to bring up is I brought up a name, and you were like, I don't know this name.
Yeah.
Mary Martinez.
Still not ringing a bell.
I don't know why.
Should I know her? Maybe that's the better question. Should I know her?
If you were on TikTok, and
Nope.
especially Miami Dolphins TikTok.
No,
Because
definitely not
there's a
either.
Miami Dolphin TikTok thing. You would definitely know her. She's an elementary school teacher.
Oh,
and she uses the Dolphins.
Yes. I didn't
as
know her
part of
name,
it.
but I know who she is now that you said that.
And she uses every Dolphin game
Right.
as a way to teach her kids. Right. So the way she teaches respect and how to treat people and stuff is by the penalties, like unsportsmanlike conduct, offsides. She goes through all those. And I just thought it was really unique how she figured out a way. Like, her passion is teaching.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can tell by the way she teaches the kids and she does everything with the kids. She loves what she does.
Right.
But she's trying to make it fun.
Sure.
So what does she do? She teaches, like, their math is all surrounded around
Like 10 yards.
Tyreek Hill's 2,000 yard season.
Okay.
So every she has cool little contests. Like at the end of the week, she'll say, okay, everybody write down how many yards you think Tyreek is going to have.
Right.
And whoever actually hits that number gets a free homework pass.
Yikes. Okay.
Another thing she does, which is cool, is every Monday or after every game, she'll sit down and say, okay, this is where he was. These are yards he had. This is how many yards he now got. What do? We add them together and then subtract what we have left from the 2,000. How do we divide that into the games he has left to know what he needs to get every single game to get that? So she's constantly doing that.
That's funny.
So I think it's just great that she does that. But one of the things she did last week, which shout out to the Jets, and I'm a Dolphin fan, so I don't want to shout out to the Jets.
This is going.
But the Jets heard that in her whole class, there's one Jets fan.
Oh, so they sent all sorts of Jet swag to the classroom.
They sent him. They sent him a signed football.
Yeah, it's good for this kid.
And then he went to the game on Sunday, and they caught him onto the field.
No.
He took pictures with all the players,
Dude,
and he got to do
awesome.
And so it's gotten way past the fact of, hey, this is how I'm teaching my class,
right?
And my kids are learning life values of teamwork and how to do things, and making it fun. To now the NFL is getting involved and saying, "Hold on, you got a Jets fan? Let me get him swag."
Dude,
and
that's
they just
awesome.
got Tyreek wears a specific a pair of glasses that he wears when he's not on the field.
Okay.
On his personal time, it's one of his branded or whatever. Mm-hmm. They sent him the entire class.
Oh, this is like Coach Prime when he got his glasses. Okay.
The whole class got the glasses.
Dude, that's awesome.
In different colors. So she was this morning. I was watching TikTok and it came up and she's like, all right, I'm separating colors and I'm putting the kid's name on it.
Yeah.
And today happens to be their field day at school. Oh, so they're all rocking Tyreek glasses. Oh, dude,
they're
it's crazy.
standing room only trying to get into her classroom, right? But see, that's where I think people can make such a difference in people's lives. Like, she's found a way to communicate like her own style to these kids. Like,
right.
They probably don't even realize the scope of work and education they're getting because they're so caught up in the fun and the excitement of it. And she's like, she's orchestrating this. She's like the puppet master back there. Like, and she found a way to communicate to these people. And I think that's, I watch this with, people in our office, the way they communicate to clients, the way that I see coaches on the field from the baseball, softball, soccer fields. And I'm just like, man, like, like if I coached like that, like I'd have to kick my own ass, right? Like it's just like people like you have to find a way to communicate to the kids, and like I get it, like you want to be right as a coach, you want to like, oh, I'm gonna be this, okay, but and for some kids that works, right? For some kids in school, you've got to be boom structure, boom, 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 bam, baseball field, sports field, whatever it is, like business wise, boom, 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 boom. But I think there's also that point of like, and that's what kind of what you said there is that every year I have a meeting with my parents that I coach, and I have meetings with the kids, and it's the reason why I hope parents and families continue to ask to be on my teams, right? It's like, I'm not reinventing the wheel. There's plenty of smarter coaches and better baseball players than me out there, right? Like I dabbled in some college baseball at best, right? But there are guys out there that know a lot more. But it's the fact that we're giving these kids the ability to have fun, to be creative, and they want to be there, right? It's creating passion. Those kids, I'll guarantee you, they go to bed at night and wake up in the morning fired up to go to school.
Oh, of course.
I bet you, like they're like pumped to go into class, right? Like that's how I hope.
But to give you credit, I mean, technically your baseball season's done.
Right.
So you're still going to have practice because you still want the kids involved.
Sure.
And you're trying to find fun ways to keep
like
them
we were
involved.
brainstorming today,
Not playing baseball, like
Right.
other things that are going to get them fun and get them exercising and moving versus just, hey, let's just go out there and hit the ball.
Because I think it's that thing. It's like the way you do anything, right? Like if you're in
The way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Man, you should have seen that coming, right? But it's like real estate. How often do we tell people, and how often are we told like, dude, you gotta have fun doing your job.
Oh, of
like
course.
when I wake up to do real estate and like real estate's in my brain, like I don't get like super anxiety unless it's you get down to the wire. Like, sometimes there's some jiggle, but it's like I get pumped to come on the podcast and just talk and like branding, like we know people aren't gonna probably turn this back. Oh man, I'm gonna buy a house, but it's like they get to know us, they get to know the personalities. We're having fun. Like this is more for us than anything else, right? Like we get to come in, have a good time, get out some laughs. Like, but imagine if you had to come in and every day you had to get on the phones and you're like, hi, this is Aaron Dalzell and I'm with XYZ Realty Company and I'd like to know how I can make your dreams come true by selling your house. Have you thought about selling your house? I'm the best reason to sell your house and let me tell you why. It's like click, right? Like, and if you had to do that all day, every day, you'd probably be like, dude, real estate sucks. But it's like, we don't do that.
No.
Right?
We still do make calls and we still do things. We just make it fun.
And that's like, dude, that's how we work in the office.
Because it's supposed to be fun.
It is, dude. Life is too short not to. And I'm not saying like, hey, fun over progress or fun will pay your bills. Like, no. But the more fun you have, it translates. That energy translates. Like you go back to these kids in that class, like. Dude, they are getting educated, right? Like they're having fun with it. They're learning. It's like with our baseball team, man. We'll go through technical drills and work on fundamentals, right? And the kids will be like, oh, blah 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 blah. And you can tell they're going through the motions, right? But as soon as we go, all right, now we're doing a contest, and like I'll set up 2 cones and I'll just start rifling fungos at them, like it's like a goal. We call it the goalie drill, right? All of a sudden they're going through, they're diving for balls, they're doing like, but they don't realize everything they just worked on, they're putting into play, right? Because now they're focused on like, oh, I got to beat Tom, I got to beat Timmy, I got to beat little Peter, right? It's like, and they get to work it and they get ticked, right? Right. But like, dude, where was that fire when we were doing the fundamentals, the mechanics? It's not there. So finding that way, like this teacher is doing. I remember seeing the Instagrams when there was the teacher, like everybody would line up by the door, and it was a male teacher. Like, dude, he had like a special handshake with every kid when they came in. Like, dude, like that's the stuff. Like those are the memories, and like that's the stuff and the enthusiasm that makes people want to be in that class. Makes people want to be on your baseball team, your softball team, because like. Dude, you have fun. Yes. Are we getting better? Yes. But not at the price of driving kids away from the sport or driving people away from the industry. I tell people all the time, like, dude, half these kids, they're going to be over sports, right? Some of them are going to be studs, but they've got 87 lessons, 83 private coaches. And it's like, and everybody wants the best for their kids. It comes out of a good place, right? But sometimes we just got to, and these kids, they put so much pressure on themselves, right? It's like, sometimes it's like, dude, like,
sometimes you just got a colored gingerbread house.
Dude, that's what I was exactly this morning. Come down from my coaching call, and it's kind of like you're headed into the week. So I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to double down on this and that. And the kids are, first day of winter break. Oh, dear baby, Jesus help us all. Like here's a PSA announcement. Wives, mothers out there, like.
Good luck.
If your husband starts volunteering to go to Home Depot, the grocery store, go get your oil change, like, we're not being as helpful as you maybe think. Maybe we're just looking to our, we're not maybe used to this, but it was awesome. No, yeah. So I came down and my wife already had day one stuff set up and like life-size gingerbread house, like cardboard that you got to color. I'm like, I should get into the office. I'm like, dude, this is an opportunity to have fun, do some of the kids. And I was like, let's get a cup of coffee. Let's get the markers out. Let's go to work. Yeah. I got a couple lollipops and gingerbread frames in before
you came in.
Before I was like, yeah, good. Let's go do some stuff.
Right. That was my rant. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So this is funny. So we've kind of talked about this before, and I started thinking about it on my coaching call today, and I was flustered last week. How long was I working on that videos, my content, my education stuff when you saw me the other day in the office?
Oh, Jesus. It
was like all day.
Yeah,
all day. Right? And
easy.
It's like that's not my wheelhouse, right? But I like it. I like doing it. It's fun, and again, it gives me a creative thing. It makes it like, but there comes a time where, it's like the efficiency kicks in. And so I was talking to my coach about it today, and it's like, it started making me think, and we've kind of talked about this before. But if there was something I want like crazy, like, hey, dude, like, this is what I want. This is probably realistic. If you could find something that you do that you could get probably pay or get somebody else to do a little bit more efficiency to get some of your time back, what would it be? Like, is there something you're like, dang, if I could just probably get, even though I like doing it, like maybe it takes like that day, dude, I was doing that for probably 6 hours and it needed to be done. But I probably could have got someone to do it in an hour.
Something that I like to do, but if I could find...
Well, yeah, it's just like something that you do that you're just like, dude, somebody else could do this so much faster than me and free up 3 hours of my day, and let's say you do that once a week. Dude, that's 12 hours a month you get back. Like that's if you're a stereotypical 8-hour shift, dude, you just picked up a day and a half every month. I don't think about that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I don't know.
Isn't it weird?
I'd have to think about that.
Right? I mean, I kind of put that one on a T for you, and you struck out. We've had part of this conversation. I mean, the personal driver. That's got to be up there on your list, right?
You know what? That is. And actually, my son was like, hey, he just stopped working at his current job because he's going to be looking for a job to probably get into the field that he wants to do. And he's like, why don't I drive you around?
Right.
And I was thinking, you could. But, sometimes the windshield time
is good.
Oh,
it was not good for us last week, buddy. It was not good. It was not good for the office last week when I had windshield time.
You know how many intelligent conversations I have by myself in the car?
Yeah. I have a lot of arguments by myself in the car.
I don't argue. I usually have really good conversations.
You know what? That's hilarious because... So I made my morning post today, and I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but it had just like a circle, right? And it was cut maybe 90% one side, 10% the other side. And the 10%, it was like, the thing was like where problems reside. Okay. And the 10% was like reality. The 90% was in the circle that says imagination.
Right.
Right? Because it's like, it is. We build some things up in our head and our imagination so hard. It's like, I've had fights with my wife in my head, or I've had arguments with my clients and with other agents. Wow, like I'm cussing them out in my head. I'm like, dude, I didn't even talk to this person, but like I'm fired up.
But I need that though. I need that sanity. I need to be able to go off on people in a car without going off on people.
Okay, so it's your vice.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's my thing. Is I sit in, whether it's in the car, whether it's in the shower, I'm having a conversation about a certain topic, or I'm talking to somebody about something, and it helps me get it out.
Right.
So that when I actually speak to them, I'm not.
Sure.
I'm not.
So you're basically role playing the situation in your head. I mean, you've already. So it's kind of like, by the time you get to the situation, you've already done it in your head 50 times.
Right. When I get to the situation, it's almost like I want to tell the person, we've already had the discussion, just agree with me because I'm right. And just walk away.
Sign here. Why? Because we've already had this.
We've already talked and you already agreed to this. So just sign it and let's just go.
Dude, I love it. Yeah. Windshield time is like that because, man, I took a drive for a client last week, and I was
I
listening.
know you went down a rabbit hole.
Man, I drove out to Palm Gardens. Beautiful little community that pops up out of nowhere. Cool house. It's really cool.
It's like an oasis in the middle
Yeah,
of
it
the desert.
really was. And by like an hour and 15, hour and 20-minute drive. Super easy drive. 45 minutes out of Boulder City. If anybody's wanting to head down to Palm Gardens or Searchlight. But the combination of that and listening to the book of The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F.
Right.
Boy, it was a deadly combination because I came back with some questions.
You came back
I
with
came
fire.
back ready to. And it's like, and when we were talking about it and the stuff that it just made me think, right? And like, we always talk about making progress, right?
Right.
It's not nothing's perfect. And everywhere you go, everywhere you work, every game you play, nothing's going to be perfect, but it's that progress, right? That helps us get
progress,
further.
not perfection.
Exactly. And somebody as I was on my rant and I was letting everybody was getting it. That's where I was like, buckle up your hard hats, work them on because everybody can get it.
Tighten your bootstraps. This is going to get tough.
And I went down the hole and somebody made a comment or, I heard someone say like, well, what was it? It was something to the fact is like, you can find cheaper avenues or this or that. It's not about that. Or even it's like, hey, well, this is the time of the year where people start to cut costs. It's like, no. That's not what I'm saying at all. The rabbit hole I went down is again, the progress. Why aren't we continuing to evaluate where our kids at in school, right? If your kid's, getting a C or a D in school, right? We're not going to wait till the end of the semester, be like, okay, next semester we're going to do something about that, right? It's like, no, we're constantly evaluating as we go, and sometimes there's changes that need to be made. Maybe it's your study habits. Maybe it's the way you do your homework at home. Maybe it's the way you operate in class. Maybe it's the kid you're sitting next to, right? All these things play into factor, but if we just turn a blind eye to them and just accept them for what they are, and we'll be like, you know what? We'll start next year, next week, right? And that's the phase of the year we're getting into, right? Oh, January 1st, watch out! I'm gonna get jacked. I'm going to the gym. I'm gonna eat healthy. I'm gonna start going to bed at 8. I'm gonna read and by January 8th, we are all done with our New Year's resolutions and back to dad bods are cool. I don't need to read books. Sleep's over. I'll sleep when I'm dead, right? How quickly we give up on that stuff.
No, yeah, that's true. But constant evaluation is definitely the way to go.
And it's like, again, it's not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's like if we're not constantly evaluating, it just means, in my opinion, we're just accepting the status quo.
Right.
Right. So are you currently happy with where you're at right now? Like one of the things I wrote down, like for topics, are you driving your dream car right now?
Nope.
Okay. Why not?
Because I just haven't made the decision.
Right?
That's it. It's simple.
Some of us get caught in a status quo, right? It's like, hey, life is good. I've got a roof over my head. My family's healthy. I got food, which are all amazing things, right? There's not a lot of people that can say that.
Right.
Right? But it's like, okay, if we continue just to be satisfied with status quo, will I ever get to drive my dream car? Will I ever get to go on my dream vacation? The only thing that's really standing in our way is us in that mindset of being like, hey, I'm comfortable right now. My bills are paid, this and that, but then we look at a paycheck that comes in, whatever industry, a lot of people's first thing. So if I slide over in this industry, right, a commission check, right? If I slide that over, what's the first thing that you think you're going to do with that money? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I slide over a $10,000 check?
Start paying bills.
Right?
Yeah.
Why do we think that way? I agree. I think the same way too,
yeah,
right?
I mean, we all think that way.
I project out, but it's instead of okay, this will get me through X amount of months. This will pay X amount of bills. It's okay, how can I use that to make sure that next check is $15,000, $20,000? Because you said it before too. It's listen, the expense is not the problem.
It's the income.
It's the income that's the problem.
That's
right?
Grant Cardone.
In most cases.
No, in all cases. You don't have a spending problem. You have an income problem.
Right?
Learn how to make more money, and then spending doesn't matter. It was funny because I was looking at, now that you're on this topic, this is actually a funny topic.
You just never know where the topics are going to go. You got to be on your toes, baby.
I was watching, I was reading or watching something today about John Travolta.
Okay.
And they're asking, what are the John Travolta's most expensive habits or things that he has in his life?
Oh, I gotta go out on a limb and say it's his plane collection.
His plane collection.
Okay.
Because he has seven of them.
Yeah.
He has 737s. He even has one that he bought. He flew for a little while and then he donated somewhere.
I think he still lives on an airport strip somewhere in one of those communities, right?
He has an 12,000 square foot house.
Okay.
On a runway. He has his own runway. He has his own airport. So it's cool, right? And
Yeah.
we always talk about how I want to have a private jet and I want to do this. So
I would settle for a golf cart community. I'm looking to retire in a golf cart community.
No, I want to have a plane. See, because I want to be able to travel.
Nice golf cart,
but I want to be able to travel and go other places. Okay. So I'm looking at this whole thing, right? And I look up his net worth, and not to act like it's, oh my God, he really doesn't have that much.
Right.
But I'm looking at his net worth, and his net worth is about $200,000 or $200 million.
$200,000.
$200 million. So I'm like, so I look at it, and I'm like, well, that's not that bad. Right. Then I look up, because then when I looked up his net worth, then it had a bunch of other celebrities. I click on like Tom Cruise, and his is $600 million, and I clicked on somebody else, and they were $400 million, and I'm like, this guy, I guarantee you, has more planes than all of those people, and he makes the least amount of money.
Right.
But he still has more planes, and plus he has a really cool Santa Claus commercial. But other than that. Like, so I'm thinking of it as he's doing exactly what you're talking about. He's living his best life because that's his thing. So he's just making sure. I mean, when I was reading the article, it was saying that one of his features of his airport is he can drive his plane up to his house. Dude, like you would drive your car. Yeah. He just drives the plane up, gets down, he's home. Dude, that's sick.
That's pretty gangster.
So yeah, I get it.
Well, yeah, and again, I think that comes down to just mindset of people, right? We're coming into the new year, and how many times have you heard somebody say like, oh, you know what, I'll start different. I'll start on Monday. I'll start on the 1st. Like, why you got to start on Monday? Like, why you got to start on the 1st? Like, right? Like, if you had a bad day today in the office, would you wait until next Monday to start your routine again?
No. I gotta take over. I can have a bad moment, right? Not a bad day.
And it's like again, like we reference like the kids in the sports team. It's like, dude, at bats, football games, whatever. It's like, dude, you strike out, okay? Yeah. Oh, you know what? Next tournament, I'm gonna be better. We're in game 1 in the first inning of a 3-day weekend tournament. Like, we ain't got time to wait till the next one, dude. Like shake it, let's go. But people get so fixated on the immediate gratification result. And I'm an immediate gratification guy. I'll drive to Boulder City and spend an extra $20 if I want something today and they have it out there, right? I get it. But some of the stuff, like in life, it's just not instant gratification. And if they don't get it, like I think that's why people every year, like, I'm going to the gym, I'm gonna eat healthy, and they do it for 2 days, and like, man, I have not lost 20 pounds yet. This ain't working, right? Like,
I'm gonna put a picture. I'm gonna put a picture in my wall of Pat McAfee.
You're gonna put that?
Yes, because I want to be like him on our podcast next year.
Okay, well. He started with his boys in the basement.
Yeah, no, but I want to be like jacked up in a tank top, just crushing it.
Dude, I mean, we can wear tank tops. I mean,
we can do whatever we want. We
might lose the 10 subscribers we have, but nothing wrong with it.
Everybody's gonna be like, yeah, we're done with these guys.
But you know what? That just goes back to I know you've watched McAfee for a while, and I've listened to him watch McAfee since I think almost the beginning, and I don't think he's really ever deviated from himself.
No, he is who he is.
Right? Like, I'm sure a couple things have changed here and there, but it's like, dude, man, he seems to be the same guy. He's kept his boys. He's been true to his bikes. Like the story goes, like when you were first talking about like one of his guys, like Diggs, he was like, they all grew up together out in like Plum, Pittsburgh or whatever it was. And he's like, hey, like, I'm retiring from football. This is what I'm going to do. Like, you in? And like Diggs supposedly had like some financial job, and Moraldo he has like a PhD or a master's, and they're like, yeah, we're in. Quitting today. Diggs walked up, he supposedly quits his job, and he told his friends like, hey, listen, Pat's got this idea, and we're just going to run with it. And they're like, okay. And he's like, dude, listen, like anything he's ever set his mind to, it's like he wins at it. But again, you go back to the mindset. He saw the vision, he saw space, and he just went for it, but his style. Just like you going back to this teacher, like she's educating, she is making such an impact on this youth's life. Like all teachers and on all these people, like they make a big impact that they probably don't get enough credit for. But it's like someone like this who's kind of doing it a different way, and some people probably don't like her for it because like, oh, this is not to strike, blah, blah, blah. Like some stickler is going to be like, right, a junior high hall monitor. Right. We all know that hall monitor. Yep. We all know a hall monitor.
Right.
Some hall monitors going to be like, oh, you shouldn't bring football into that class. But it's like, man,
it's fun.
These kids love being at school. They love being part of her class. I'm sure there's parents like on a waiting list to get into her class.
I'm sure.
And they're learning. Like, why not? Why can't we be outside the box? Why can't we have a little fun, baby?
Anything special for Christmas?
I mean, like that I'm going to do or that I'm getting or...
No, anything special that you're waiting for? Because it's Christmas time. Like Christmas will be... Next time we talk will be after Christmas. So anything special for Christmas?
You're telling me that we're not doing a podcast on Christmas?
Next week?
On Christmas?
On Christmas Day? No.
Yeah. Bro, the people want to hear.
They can hear the day after Christmas. Because it doesn't get posted till Wednesday, so we're good.
Nothing. You know, like... I don't know, man.
Christmas. Like, you're really going to leave your house on Christmas to come here to record a podcast.
No.
Okay, there we go. So you're trying to make me out to be the bad guy, the slacker.
This year's going to be a cool Christmas because my brother and sister-in-law on my wife's brother, they're typically never with us on Christmas. They're always working and stuff in LA and stuff. So they're going to be here on Christmas Day. So we normally do 2 Christmases, Christmas Day, then they get to the other. So I think that's going to be exciting for the kids and stuff. But I don't know. For me, this is going to sound super D-bag cliche. It's just like, I mean, my wife and I, we really don't do presents for each other. You know, it's like it's all about the kids and that stuff. So like watching them get excited and watching them be around family and watching them play, like, I don't know. It's like, for me, the most exciting thing about Christmas is just, again, super cliche. It's just like being around everybody, you know, just like watching the kids have fun and, you know, like you work hard, you make money so you can buy them things and sure, will they be spoiled? Yes. And, you know, I still like for them to understand, like, you know, it's that balance between, it's like, we're in a fortunate position in our life to where, no, they're not getting like Ferraris and Lambos for Christmas by any means. Right. But they're getting gifts and, you know, any good amount of gifts. And you still got some people that, you know, are not getting gifts. And, you know, we try to do toy drives and shoe drives and things like that to help out. So for me, it's just like watching them have fun, but not lose reality on like what's important and how fortunate they really are.
So for me, this is the first Christmas that all of my kids are adults. Oh. So they went out and they had their own job and they have money and they all went about shopping. Oh. So they're excited about being able to give their own gifts.
Dude, as you're saying that, what's going through my mind is that you remember when you were a kid and your parents would give you like $20 and you get to go to like the school like Christmas store.
Yeah.
And every year you got, I mean, I look back.
A little trophy that says best dad.
Dude, every year, like as a child, I remember going back and I remember like the same things. Like I remember getting my mom like some type of like, you know, like keychain or pencil number 1 mom. I remember getting my dad must have had 12 of these things, right? I remember getting him. It was always a tool, right? Because my dad loved tools and he taught me about tools. So, you know, that's one thing we'll always have, you know, even though he's not here anymore. It's like, and my kids know that I love tools. Right. So I used to buy him one of those little Allen wrench things, like the little red one that had like 8 Allen wrenches in it. And every year I'd be like, check something. And then like, as I got older, I'd go to his toolbox and like this, he had this big, just old school red toolbox. That was the coolest thing in the world. Like I thought like, dude, man, if I get one of those, like that was a,
yeah.
And I remember like at one point getting older when it kind of dawned on me and just like, I opened like one of it. I'm like, there's like 7 of these things in there. We just kept all of them. And now I start to
cool.
It is. And now I go back to like my garage and I see like dad's ruler or like a sign that says dad's tools don't touch. So, like my kids know.
Right.
Like, so when you were saying that, I'm like, that is the fun part to say like, I've got like the dad number 1 trophies and this and that. And it's always funny to find out which kid spends the money and buys everybody something.
Right.
Or there's always one kid in my family, I'm not going to call anybody out, that somehow takes that same amount of money, gets everybody else something, but there's always a little bit of money left over for that person. I do have one of those that has figured out the system.
I have one of those that figures out the system. Well, buddy,
that's cool. That's awesome.
Merry Christmas.
For you. Merry Christmas, sir.
You have a great one.
Feliz Navidad. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa.
And welcome to the Dolphin. The fins.
Fins up.
Fins up.
Do we do like one of these
fins
or anything?
Up.
Like
fins
that's
up.
like our calling sign?
That's it.
All right. I like
fins
it.
up.
I like it.